Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Andrew, and I'm an intuitive, I'm a medium, I'm a divine channel, a healer, all of the things. And I want to share a collective message today. Oh, this smoke is really getting in my eyes, so that's what Spirit wants. This is what's needed right now. Guides, angels, ancestors, ascended masters, beings of loving light, those that walk with us in God's loving embrace, we call upon you at this time. Empower me as a messenger, as a divine channel, so that I may deliver the divine messages as needed. Thank you. Allow my pure intention to serve. Allow my pure intention to serve, my efforts, my sacrifice of my time and energy, and my desire to perform within my function to serve as petition for the work that is going to come through me. Thank you. Archangel Michael, please protect against any distorting energies and or intentions. Escort them to a place of evolution or dissolution now or whenever they may interfere. Thank you. Archangel Raphael and Archangel Joviel sit within my heart, allowing my heart to be expanded to 6 feet in all directions in my unique little bubble. Thank you. Allow my heart to be the primary and leading intelligence and inspire me to remain rooted in that intention. Thank you. Archangel Gabriel, sit within my throat, allowing my communication to be pure, concise, divinely anchored to the heart, full use and freedom of speech. Thank you. Thank you. Santa Clara and Archangel Metatron sit within my mind and my crown, allowing my mind to be purified, my crown to be connected to the high heavens. Thank you. Thank you. I just felt a kiss on my cheek. We are so very blessed and thankful for this opportunity to connect. And with that we say Amen. I've been getting this download about serving time for something you didn't do, right? We were doing a reacts video to some, I guess you could say legal stuff that we were watching online together, if you guys were on the live with me. And it was a man who was being righteously released from his sentence because he was found to be innocent many years later after spending over, I believe, 15 years behind bars for what he had done. And there's something about like quiet sentences where, you know, people look at you and see you as a free moving individual, but when they actually go a little closer or dig a little deeper, they find that, or yeah, maybe they'll find it, maybe they won't, but if you look closer, there's a little bit of its own sentencing happening, right? So personally, and I can only speak to myself, and you can apply this to wherever it fits for you, right? That's your job as the receiver in this case. For me, where is it that I've been holding myself in contempt for particular things, whether it be abundance or stability or my natural gifts? Where is it that I'm holding myself back from all of the goodness that I can and should create in this life because I'm holding myself to something that isn't even mine? Something else that's coming to my mind is like having trauma from growing up. Obviously, we all have our own, but having a very specific and particular trauma that involves some kind of injustice, right? So say you're neglected or you're abused by a parent, right? All too close to home. So many of us can relate to this. Or we have narcissistic parents, or parents that are so traumatized that they can't help but just be so harmful to us. There's something about like the path that we've taken afterwards, and how we don't even see how we've been punishing ourselves in some way. We've been holding ourselves. It's this unconscious, very beneath the iceberg, the underside of the iceberg kind of energy. Because it's subconscious. It has to do with the shadow. It's the impulses that don't have the central, or the, I guess you could say, like the intelligence that's at the forefront is not what is guiding these things, right? It's the unconscious. It's the underside of your iceberg. And so because you've been primed with this kind of trauma with your family, etc., then you do something bad. Right? Then you find yourself involved in relationships, and then you punish yourself for all the ways in which your trauma is causing you to hurt others now. Because there's more of an awareness. You're looking back and looking at all the things and the ways that you've hurt people, or the ways that, there's a lot of real focus on the dark parts of the self right now. And it's real easy for humans, especially the humans that I read for, to not go down a spiral of self-shame or obsession, right? Down a path of, I guess you could say, hating yourself or turning against yourself. Not even realizing that you're doing it, but realizing that you're doing it. I know that this all sounds so whatever, but there's something real valid here, and maybe this download will further break down or be digested and be able to be communicated better through me. But it's this energy of being held in contempt, serving a sentence and not even knowing it. It's like you don't even realize that you're free until that gavel drops and the divine justice is brought into your life, and you're like, whoa. I thought I actually needed to do that shit. Like I was told that I needed to serve time. It's like that was a clown, right? Where does clown come from? Kangaroo court was a clown. It was this is the analogy we're going with, right? We're serving a time for a sentence of something and not even knowing it, right? And then you only know it once you're free of it. This is really a real rumble and I guess a standoff between the divine masculine and feminine right now. And we're in Scorpio season right now, so this doesn't surprise me. So the Lover's card, Gemini energy coming up in the reverse. I'm hearing something about incompatibility, and also different kinds of compatibility, and not all compatibility is conducive to a healthy, thriving, divine partnership. Some compatibility is strictly karmic. And where is it that we won't accept or see where those lines, and here's the thing, karmic isn't necessarily, and mostly isn't, most of the time won't be something that is to be scoffed at, something that is it's just karmic. There is no just karmic. Karmic has such a weight to it. So wherever, and karmic and divine does not mean that that karmic isn't divine. It's almost like Catholicism is one aspect of Christianity under the umbrella of Christianity. So karmic relationships are under the umbrella of divine relationships, there's all different types of compatibility. And so are we asking the wrong questions? A really beloved person in my life recently said to me, I've been asking myself the wrong questions. Where is that also true for you? You're asking yourself questions about compatibility. You're asking yourself questions about whether or not this person is in my life or that person is in my life. The collective right now is looking at the board, so to speak, and trying to determine who's safe to keep around. There's a real clear kind of impulse towards there's no more time to waste, right? There's this kind of urgency that I'm feeling. Okay, when I'm shuffling and no more cards are coming out, it means that there's more to the card and the message. I'm also hearing it's the polarity, the divide, the collective divide, and how it affects us all individually. There are a whole lot of different things that affect us on a day-to-day basis. One thing being the astrological transits, another thing being our own internal endocrine system, our hormones, and all the things that are going on within us, and our digestion, all the things. And then on top of that, you have the collective humanity. So it's like how everybody is responding to everything, and that has its own stream and current. And it feels like there's a real fight, brewing here. And how does that then affect us back again? It's this feedback loop, which is how we've come into this unconscious collective creation of the world as we know it. This feedback loop, right, of how we respond to the energies that we're all exposed to, and then how the collective lives with it, like how it manifests in the whole world, and then how then that affects us, and then how that then affects, it's this feedback loop that has created the world as we know it. And there's this rift and this divide, this real shift, or I guess you could say this real gap between the individuals that are living in delusion and false security, that are, foaming at the mouth. And a lot of that includes us, right? The sicknesses that we live with, and how we're all divided and within ourselves, inner conflict and confusion, trauma, just trying to sort the pieces out, trying to put ourselves in alignment, a lot of good things, right? So that's coming in real clear on the side where Spirit is saying this is in the midst of a lot of good things. So this is not like bad things are going to happen, or that you're not going to have the abundance or this or that, or that you don't already have things that you've been wanting, relationships and otherwise, right? This is a collective message. Take what resonates. But this is more about, like, I guess you could say, the overcast of how things feel. And it feels like there's this great rift, and it's manifesting in the world as some kind of great fight or conflict. And it's also coming within, and this rift within ourselves, and bridging this gap. And it's a very painful process, and it's uncomfortable. But the point of all of this is, like, every new challenge is almost like being dropped on the map, and you need to find your way home. And your home is not everybody else's home. We don't share the variables. Everybody has a different karmic journey, and everybody's doing it differently. But the point is to make it home. So every dark night of the soul that you're dropped into it, think of it as you're being dropped on a map, like Fortnite, and you got to fight your way home, right? And we've been doing a lot of larger journeys home, like over the course of years, but then there's been all these little journeys in between. Even on the journey home, it's like, can we throw you a little bit to the left or to the right or whatever, and see if you can still find your way back on your path and where you need to be. And that journey of always coming back is the same journey of every branch growing towards the sky and towards the sun. It's this constant movement towards the divine and divinity, towards wholeness and holiness, connection with our atmospheres, right? A real feeling and connection. I've done so many readings lately where it's like so many people are dammed up in reference to the emotions that they don't allow themselves to feel. And I thought I was one of these people for a while, but I realized that I am not. I didn't come here to feel for myself. I get very emotional when it comes to people around me or when it comes to things that I'm seeing, but I didn't come here to feel. I'm a projector, a 5-2 projector, with 7 out of 9 centers open, meaning that are not mine and not defined. If you know anything about human design. And you don't need to. My point is there's a lot of us right now, and many of you guys watching this, that are running from the feelings. And as a projector, I can say that confidently because I've actually been believing that that was all me, only to come and realize that it's just a concentration of all the people that I'm interfacing with. It's like you're running away from your own tidal wave of emotion. And just like an addiction, you got to fill that void as much up as possible. And for all you know, that's the sentence that you've been serving, that you never needed to. No authorized judge signed a paper and said you needed to do that. Maybe karmically you do, but you don't need to continue. And this time is about changing that. This time is this age of Aquarius going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. That's literally the switch that I just mentioned. It's that conscious change and shift. Now is a time when we get to live sensitively and we get to truly inherit. We get to see what it is to watch this world that we've lived in and that our ancestors have lived in begin to shift and change, and us begin to shift and change, and learning how to live together and work together in a way that really brings a sense of light and life back to the world, where all things are possible and God's will is being worked out through man and creations and inventions and developments and all just a true renaissance that never ends. And it's not all going to be that doesn't mean that it's not going to have its dark moments. I mean, we're living through it right now. These are troubling times. But to live with sensitivity is to know yourself. And to know yourself is also to know your enemy. And to know your enemy is to know God. I don't know where that came from. But there's a method to all of this madness. And one thing that I can say, or another thing I can say very confidently about the divine, is that they'll take whatever the circumstances end up being, or whatever the choices that are made, every situation can be efficiently used to springboard you. There is a miracle. There's a miracle within the formula of every given situation. There is always hope. And I say all of this because I know that these are really dark times. And so this rift, this divide, this separation, right? This devolution of union is really what I'm getting at. Thank you, Spirit. This is hitting the nail on the head. This is where this is led. Some of you have been serving a sentence where you've been devolved over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime in your relationship and union, so that it can be relearned again. Like a tree that gets cut down from its dead part, and only the living part is alive, and it has to regrow again. You don't need to know the why. I guess you guys can experiment and play with that, and you can leave a comment and let me know what your why is if you care to share. But what is the Thank you, Spirit. Just felt like everything just vanished. Bring it back unless I'm on the wrong track. Thank you. I just heard receive it. When relationships with the masculine and feminine, any romantic, honestly, any relationships, period, in your life are a reflection of the level of empowerment and integration that you have within your divine masculine and divine feminine. When the relationships in our life are troubling, when we can't seem to hold friendships down or we have all these difficulties, it's not for you to have shame. It's just for you to see and be like, this is a reflection. The same way a messy home to someone is a reflection of their messy internal struggle, right? Or their messy internal life. Your messy relationships are a reflection of your messy relationship within yourself. Internal politics is what I'm hearing. And it's time to answer to the part of you or the parts of you that never get heard. That's what I'm hearing. That's what this gap is speaking to. This gap has to be answered to. You can't just drive down this road and expect this big old gap, this fucking Grand Canyon gap, to disappear. Right when you're about to drive over it, you will fall into the crack. There are a lot of situations in life where you fall into that crack. And that crack is where you are serving a sentence that is beyond you. So it's almost like a tactic of the devil energy or the harmonic impulse or the Luciferian impulse, whatever you want to call it, the impulse that is challenging us by way of polarity. It's challenging us and trying to, it's I guess you could say its strategy is to make us feel, or to trap us into feeling like we are not actually willing, ready, able, worthy of graduating beyond what it is that we keep cycling in. And a part of that is shame. Shame is one of the most potent tools used by any sort of distorted light or distorted force, right? Shame. It's what narcissists use, or people that have narcissistic personality disorder or suffer with narcissism. I mean, what is narcissism? Narcissism is when you have totally disregarded other people as other people and having compassion and empathy for them. You've desensitized yourself to it to the point where other people are just objects and you don't even realize you're doing it. And so you want to have things your way, and you push and you gaslight and you do all of these things because all you can think about is yourself. It's all about you, because in survival all you can think about is yourself. And so when you've degenerated down that path and you become a narcissist, or you begin displaying narcissistic personality disorders, and many of the greatest healers, many of the greatest, and that's the scary part, many of the greatest healers, many of the greatest intuitives, many of the greatest prophets, or all of the things that have to do with divinity, it's very possible that they could fall into narcissism. It's actually quite common, right? Because it's that same power that you have for compassion and for being connected to the world around you and being a mover and shaker and a true asset to your community. The opposite of that, the inversion of that, is being a narcissist. Same coin, different side. I guess this is a one card reading. God bless you guys. I leave you in the divine light of the divine creator. Hopefully you're done serving your non-existent sentence. Bye.